When there is FUD in crypto, it usually leads to opportunity, and that's exactly what we've seen over the last 48 hours. In this video, I'm going to go over a lot of the stuff we have seen off the backs of MicroStrategy, Tether, the Japan carry trade, etc. A lot of these things have almost found resolution over the last 24 hours, and we are seeing that in the charts as Bitcoin, as of the time of recording this, is at 92K after sitting at 85 yesterday, one of the single highest percentage gains in a day on Bitcoin in quite a long time. So we're going to go over in this video what is going on in the markets. Could we see 100K Bitcoin on a retracement to the upside before the end of the month? We're going to talk about that and more, including altcoins. I think will move the hardest if we see this type of a move in the market. So without further ado, let's jump into it.
And as always, guys, before we jump into it, be sure to drop down below, hit the like button, and subscribe to the channel for more. Every single week here on In the Game, we have you covered 4 to 5 times a week with everything you need to win across the crypto markets. And of course, a big shout out to our sponsors here on In the Game. We have some amazing sponsors. Today, I want to give a big shout out to 𝗨𝗏. If you haven't already signed up for 𝗨𝗏, I don't know what you're doing, especially in the United States. We are so limited on options to trade, and you can jump into 𝗨𝗏, trade hundreds of pairs on longing or shorts, and we are giving out over 10,000 USDT as a part of our campaign with 𝗨𝗏. So check out the link down below. No KYC, no restrictions. Wherever you are in the world, you can utilize 𝗨𝗏. Now, let's just jump into the markets. And if you guys had watched yesterday's video, you would know what was going on in the market. A lot of FUD, and we talked about specifically when there is maximum FUD, and we even showed a timeline chart of when there's Tether FUD, buying the FUD on that is usually a major play. I didn't think it would happen so quickly, but woke up this morning. Yesterday, Bitcoin was down 7%, and now we're up 7.2%. And if we are to look here, it is actually one of the biggest gains in a single day over this course of the cycle, as we see that 7% climb after all of the FUD. And when I say a lot of it's resolved, if we look across the board, we see the S&P just a day after people were worrying if MicroStrategy is going to go insolvent, if their balance sheet is going to crumble, if their company is going to collapse. We see the S&P approves MicroStrategy's application to add MicroStrategy to join the S&P 500. We also see Bank of America recommending clients to put up to 4% of their entire investment portfolio into Bitcoin and crypto. Moving on down as well, we see the first day on ETFs on Vanguard, the Bitcoin ETF hit over $1 billion just within the first 30 minutes. And last but certainly not least, we see the Federal Reserve Chair saying he is officially ending quantitative tightening. So this is all very good for risk on assets. And of course, just seeing the resolution, for example, on MicroStrategy. If the biggest single treasury company in crypto would have gone under, or something actually had collapsed here, it would probably be worse than FTX for Bitcoin's credibility purposes, etc. So this is absolutely massive, and that's why we're seeing on the charts. And if we look at the altcoins that we pointed out yesterday, those are the ones that are actually leading the charge. We see here Hyperliquid up 11% at $33 today. We like to buy coins here that are revenue driven. And over the last 24 hours, Hyperliquid has made $4.8 million, and they're injecting a lot of that back into the charts. On top of that, we see 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 up a nice 10% as well. Those are the two main ones we talked about yesterday as of buying. And as we see here, we are now less than 2 weeks until the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 halving. And because of the way the market has been performing, I actually don't know if that's going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news, or if it is simply something where this rally could continue on something like 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. But really, to sum it up, when you see massive FUD events like that and capitulation, people were scared yesterday, selling positions, rebalancing, going into Bitcoin and really trying to get rid of certain altcoins that they deemed weak, whatever the case is. People really wanted to take down that risk profile on their portfolios yesterday. We saw Zcash, really the darling of Q4 so far, sell off massively as well. So yesterday to me felt like max fear when you have that type of FUD between MicroStrategy and Tether, but usually that does indicate a very nice area to DCA into the charts, and seeing that in the charts today on this bounce. And you know, obviously this is complete theory, but I agree. It's kind of time for a new, PVE token to come into the market. Usually it either happens at max euphoria or at max pain. And with all of the stuff we've seen in the market, if the market recovers and a token comes out or a token starts running that just crushes it, it does feel like one of those times in crypto that a random coin comes out of the woodworks and spawns, and just you can keep top blasting it and it goes up. And that's usually, it happens at these times in the market, either at max greed or at max fear. We had Pepe in the middle of the bear market, and we had Trump at the euphoric times of the meme cycle. We'll see. This is more theoretical, but it does feel like one of those times in the market to be tuned into that. But don't expand your risk profile just because you see one day on the charts. I think that this is really the main message that anyone needs to hear on green days like this. If you think you missed any sort of pump because you didn't buy a coin and it's up 10% today, I would say you should not have your psychology, that unhealthy. You definitely may have missed the local bottom if we do run, but who knows? And that's why the beauty of DCAing over time. And as we see here, this clip from Thread Guy's show I thought was brilliant. As this guy here, he says, in real life, it's very hard to build $1 billion company, but in crypto, if something isn't worth $1 billion, we FUD it, or we say it's terrible. And, there's products that used to be the king of gaming, AI, perp dexes, and now they're like worth zero. They're non-existent at this point in time, which is exactly why I've been preaching on the show. I'm DCAing real business models that have longevity that also pump money back into their charts. Stuff like Hyperliquid, Aster, I think is a big sleeper as well in the market. It's up 8% today. But just if BNB has another run or Binance has another run in the news cycle, I think that Aster is going to absolutely print even from these levels. As I mentioned earlier, Tau, low market caps like Xborg, who have partnered up with real businesses and real esports teams like G2, Liquid, Cloud9, Evil Geniuses, Ninjas in Pajamas, JD Gaming, etc. There's just so much value in investing in products that are actually here for the right reasons. And you could go as base level as Aave. Aave makes revenue. They have their lend borrow. They have DeFi. Everything about their product just screams longevity. And that's what I'm looking for in any altcoin that I invest in at this point in the cycle. Having been through the gaming trenches, the AI trenches, projects, are here today, gone tomorrow. That's really the problem with crypto. And that's another reason this clip here really resonated with me, because we've seen it, right? There's products that used to, Gala Games, gaming niche, used to be the king of gaming. And now it's considered widely to be a scam and a rug pull. So, it is what it is. And I wish I could come on here and be like, yeah, today we're buying a $3 million market cap coin, but that's just not the market climate that we're in. I think it's the time to just stack your conviction and let it play out, especially until we see where this market is headed. Today and yesterday were such stark differences. Who knows where we're headed from here? I actually would put in a prediction that Bitcoin could hit 100K again before the end of the year, and some prediction markets are even showing this is a possibility. Just a few days ago, this market was as low as the yes at 28%. And as of today, it's a 50-50 percentage chance that Bitcoin crosses 100K. So just think, even the most minute move in Bitcoin, another $9,000 move, another 10% over the course of 30 days, could pull the Q4 number up to at least near that break-even level. Q4 has been absolutely horrendous for crypto so far. And, on the fourth year of the 4-year cycle, nobody enjoys that whatsoever. However, if we can reclaim 100K before December 31st, just imagine Hyperliquid could easily flip $40 again. We could see Aster at $1.82. We could see BitTensor back at $4.50. Like, there is a big opportunity whatever you have the most conviction in, it is still the time to be DCA. I mean, you still have 𝗬𝗏 at $1.60, Avalanche at $13. We see Solana at 139, BNB down 20% on the month at 870, Ethereum back under 3,000. There's, no limit to how many discounts are out there, but it's really just up to you and what you have the most conviction in, especially at this point in the cycle, because unfortunately, there's too many altcoins out in the market for anyone to just spray and pray anymore. So I understand that, we talk about majority of the same tokens most videos, but it's because the people who have been spreading their portfolios out too widely are getting absolutely crushed because the quality of projects has gone down because of the quantity that have entered the market. So for me, I'm still looking at Hype, I'm looking at Aster, I'm looking at 𝗬𝗏. Those are really the three that I can't get enough of at this top level. And I'm also, I think, longer term DCAs on stuff like Ethereum, BNB, Solana. I think those will absolutely play out as well. A couple other news tidbits. It is crypto, but at the same time, this is in the football side of things. We have been talking about the American Football.fun. Now, this is in crypto. It's on the base chain, and they are actually starting to do buybacks on players at this point in time. So the top 16 players, it says here, over the last tournament are getting buybacks over the last 24 hours or the next 24 hours. So 40% of the pool from the fees generated since November 19th are going to buy back these 16 players. So you can see here the different players that ranked in the top 16 during this last tournament. They will be getting the buybacks done on them over the next 24 hours. I'm really looking forward to that. And obviously, with our prediction market streams, our newest sponsor on the show is Kalshi. The first stream will be this week, and I think it's going to be a ton of fun. I mean, we're going to jump on here. We're going to answer chat questions. We're going to give you guys tons of picks. But today they raised $1 billion at $11 billion valuation. Absolutely crazy. And yes, they are also to do with crypto at this point in time. You've always been able to deposit crypto onto Kalshi, but now all the prediction markets on Kalshi are tokenized on Solana. So very bullish on Kalshi and excited to be working with them for the foreseeable future with our prediction market stream. So guys, like the video down below and subscribe to the channel for more. Not a lot of crazy updates in the market, but if this FUD has flipped us bullish, which happens a ton in the past history of crypto, it could be a fun end of the year, and we could start degenning a little more into some smaller cap altcoins if the opportunity presents itself over the next 30 days. So guys, like I said, like, subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys on the next one. As always, play well, my friends, trade responsibly, and stay bullish, my friends.